Good afternoon. We're here to discuss on how contractors can submit pay applications. From the home page, you will select the Projects Global tab. You'll typically select just from a list on your page. If you have a lot more, in my case, you will just select the one you're looking for. After you've gotten to the project details page that shows the project you're working for, you want to use the vertical menu on the left to select processes. You will select the Start Process button. You can type in PAYAP because it's alphabetical order. Select the PAYAP. It scrolls down to the PAYAP location, and then you must hit the Start PAYAP. Every single process is the same inside of Trimble. You'll start with the name of the process you just selected. You'll have the first section that will give you the project title, then the project number, and then tell you what process you're on. Every single process has these tabs that you see located across the top. Mostly you're going to be worried about the Details tab and the Documents tab. You will go down the list just like any other web page. We'll start from the top and work our way down. The first section has a red asterisk. It just wants you to acknowledge when to submit a pay application. When you read this, this is just telling you that please don't submit more than one pay application at a time. So we'll make sure that the previous pay app is completely processed before you start the next one. You simply select the checkbox for acknowledge. The second box is for fiscal year. The City of Tampa fiscal year ends on 30 September. So what we don't want is to have a pay application starting on 1 September and crossing to 31 October. You simply just select the radio button. The next question is just for the process flow. 99% of our folks are not an emergency affidavit, so you'll select no. The next drop-down box is to tell us what type of pay application you're doing. It's construction, design, or owner direct purchases. We'll start with construction. The next is an invoice date, so the contractor can actually drop in a date that they are submitting it or the date that it ends. If you notice all the question marks, if you have a question of what we want you filled in, you can hover over it and it will give you that information. The next red asterisk is for the DMI form and B2G Now. We want every single construction contract must have a DMI Form 30 and must register with the UBO office to get training on the B2G Now. To get the DMI Form 30, you will right-click on the link, open in a new tab. Notice the new tab opens up, and you can download the DMI 30, which is a fillable form. Notice what I just did. I had closed the window. To get your window back up, open up the browser you had, select the pay app invoice. When you finished signing and digitally signing the DMI Form 30, we want you to print out the B2G Now audit page and make that one file, and you will drag and drop the file right into this location. For construction projects that use stored materials, you're going to hit yes or no. If you hit yes, we're going to make sure that you upload an Excel sheet that tracks every single stored material item, and that must be continued throughout the project. The project narrative and backup is required for design pay applications. The design, build, construction invoice backup can be for any backup documentation. If you want to put that all into one file, you would drag and drop that file here. The contractor invoice number is a required field, and we want the contractor's audit form or tracking that you use for payment. It's QuickBooks or something else like that. It must be a unique field. So if you have a project number 1, 2, 3, 4, but it always stays that way, you must, for every month afterwards, you must put 001 for the first payment, and then 02 for the second payment, and so on and so forth. The period start and period end is just as you would suspect. You would start for the first of the month, go to the end of the month. The commitment invoice details is where you would actually select the commitment that you've been awarded by the city. And you would usually you only have one. We will select one line item. We want you to not touch this block. That's software generated, so leave that alone. For contractors, you want to put your invoice number up here. After you've selected the commitment, what will happen is the agreed upon line items will automatically show inside of this dynamic grid. This dynamic grid is actually your AIA form in a digital format. If you just have a few line items, we want you to scroll over, type in the quantity for this period, and let Trimble do the math for you. The same thing happens for all the lines. Notice it will do the math for you. Stored materials, you can go into more training for that to track stored materials, how it should match the pay application. For line item quantity contracts, we do not type in directly into the AIA form. We will be using daily reports that the construction manager in charge will walk you through. What this does is when you hit that add from daily reports, you saw the software save. You're going to come through and you're going to select which type of daily report you have or location. Notice what happens is you have a grid that shows here's my location tracking. Anything with a checkbox to be checked next to it is something that has been processed by the city and approved. Notice this location 17 actually has been approved and has already been on the daily report, has approved that there's $2,700 worth of information assigned to that. And you would add to the invoice and it will automatically bring in that amount to the pay application for you. Notice I only filled out the first two. It actually added a lot more funds to that and automatically added to the AIA form. Once you have saved this the first time, when we talk about a workflow, you have the process that's required to submit and go through many approvals throughout the city. As a contractor, you're starting over here in the start button. Those questions that you answered in the beginning go through the diamond-shaped items for true-false type activities. On the construction we picked, you would go to the construction PM who does their first review. We do our first internal city review of that application. If we find errors, we will then send it back to the contractor for approvals. If we've approved your pay application as is and all the backup documentation is correct, it will be approved, go through this function, come back, send it back to the contractor, and this is your time that you will actually sign a pay application and resubmit it to go through, continue through our approval process. It comes back to the construction PM to make sure that nothing has changed from our initial approval. We forward that on to our construction engineer, who then forwards it on to our deputy director. If grant funds are associated with this project, you will come through, it'll go through a grants review. Then it will come through our finance department, who actually checks it against our Oracle and our purchase order, and the people who actually cut your check for you that are mailed starting every Thursday. You can follow this process when a blue highlight around the box will show, so you can watch the progress through as it goes through its approval process. You can simply cancel out. So after you've seen the workflow, you actually want to hit the submit button. If everything is correct, you'll get a green banner, but since there are missing items, you will actually get a red box telling you please correct the errors below. What you're looking for is something that says please select the file to download. That means you forgot to upload the file. To print a pay app or any portion of a pay app, you'll go to the top right hand corner where it has the print button, drop down to the mail merge. You'll use drop down menu here. You have many options. Most of the time we're asking you to print the pay app summary sheet. You simply select on it. You hit the word print. It will show up into the upload area for you. You will come up and open it up, and you will see that it actually comes up and gives a Trimble Connect generated pay app summary that the city is used to seeing. You will see the contract amount, and the biggest thing is how much are we paying the contractor. You can do this at any time you want, or the project is done, or when it's required at a step inside of Trimble, or after the fact. And if you have any questions about these processes, you can contact your PM if they're not available. You can always email trimbleconstruct@tampagov.net, and you'll get one of our team who will be able to respond back to you. Thank you.